Hello everybody, welcome to Learner Attraction. In this lesson, you're going to learn what reflexive pronouns are, and how to use them in sentences. Now, let's look at reflexive pronouns as objects. Reflexive pronouns combine my, your, him, her, or it, with self in the singular, and our, your, or them, with selves in the plural. Let's take a look at the 8 reflexive pronouns. Singular: myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. Plural: ourselves, yourselves, themselves. A reflexive pronoun can be used as a direct or indirect object when the direct or indirect object is the same person or thing as the subject. When used as a direct or indirect object, a reflexive pronoun comes immediately after the verb. 1. As a direct object. For example, I enjoyed myself at the party last night. In this sentence, the reflexive pronoun, myself, is the direct object of the verb, enjoyed, and is the same person as the subject, I. So the reflexive pronoun is correctly used. You have a right to defend yourself if you are being attacked. He hates himself. She tried to kill herself. It destroyed itself. We convinced ourselves. Did they enjoy themselves at the party? Enjoy yourselves. This is an imperative sentence. The subject of an imperative sentence is always you, and it is implied, not stated. Therefore, the reflexive pronoun, yourself, singular, or yourselves, plural, is used. 2. As an indirect object. For example, I poured myself a cup of coffee. In this sentence, a cup of coffee is the direct object, and the reflexive pronoun myself is the indirect object and is the same person as the subject, I. Therefore, this sentence is correct. You caused yourself a problem. He cut himself a piece of cake. She ordered herself a new dress. He made himself some coffee. It dug itself a hole. You bought yourselves a nice car. We taught ourselves English. We promised ourselves a new house this year. They cooked themselves some chicken and rice. 3. The reflexive pronoun can also be used as the object of a preposition. For example, I felt so ashamed of myself for making such a fuss. In this sentence, the reflexive pronoun myself is the object of the preposition of, and is the same person as the subject, I. Therefore, the reflexive pronoun is correctly used. I can look after myself. Those guys only talk about themselves. Many people talk to themselves. Take care of yourselves. Some more examples. May I help myself to some more food? Help oneself means to take something for oneself, and it is often used to give someone permission to do or use something. Help yourself to the cookies. She said I could help myself to the cookies. I wish he would ask before helping himself to my food. Please feel free to help yourself to some more coffee. Go ahead and help yourselves to a drink. Obviously, she had been helping herself to my jewelry. In informal English, help oneself can mean to steal or to take something without permission. She helped herself to some money she found lying around. If you apply yourself, you'll be able to finish the project on time. Apply oneself means to work hard. I'm sure you can solve any problem if you apply yourself. I'm going to prove to my parents that I can apply myself. If you want to pass the TOEFL, you have to apply yourself to improving your English. You must apply yourself to your work if you really want the promotion. I busied myself with tidying up my room. Busy oneself means to make or keep oneself busy. He busied himself with his new car. Mrs. Wilson busied herself with her dog Charlie. He busied himself with plans for the future. My husband busied himself with repairs around the house. The children busied themselves studying all day. He prides himself on his computer skills. Pride oneself on something means to feel proud about one of one's qualities or accomplishments. She prides herself on her ability to bring in new customers. I pride myself on my ability to find the best solution to any problem. He prides himself on always being punctual. The restaurant prides itself on being the best in town. Our company has always prided itself on its excellent customer support and commitment to customer satisfaction. Note that the verbs busy and apply are always followed by the reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronouns cannot be used in the following sentences. When they visit us, they always bring their dog with them. Bring their dog with them. The personal pronoun, them, is used, not the reflexive pronoun, themselves. So, don't say, when they visit us they always bring their dog with themselves. I hope he hasn't brought his brother with him. Don't say, I hope he hasn't brought his brother with himself. Please remember to bring a mat and a towel with you to the next aerobics class. Don't say, please remember to bring a mat and a towel with yourself to the next aerobics class. Remember to take a pen with you. Don't say, remember to take a pen with yourself. His wife went to China, taking the children with her. Don't say, his wife went to China, taking the children with herself. Are we allowed to take library books home with us? Don't say, are we allowed to take library books home with ourselves? Reflexive pronouns as emphasizers. Reflexive pronouns can be used to give extra emphasis. They emphasize or intensify nouns or pronouns. In this case, reflexive pronouns can also be called intensive pronouns or emphatic pronouns. When a reflexive pronoun is used as an emphasizer, it is not the object of the sentence. It appears either after the noun or pronoun it emphasizes or at the end of the sentence. For example, I myself saw the picture. I saw the picture myself. You yourself said it. You said it yourself. He himself told me. He told me himself. Mary herself denied it. Mary denied it herself. We ourselves went there. We went there ourselves. They themselves called for help. They called for help themselves. It was the president himself who said so. The letter was written by the mayor himself. Some more examples. Only you yourself can be sure. She can bake the cookies herself. He collected the evidence himself. It's a big garden, but they do all the gardening themselves. I was going to buy a bookcase, but in the end I made one myself. It must be true that she's leaving because she told me so herself. They say it's a beautiful place, but I myself have never been there. You yourselves are the guilty ones. It must be true. You told me so yourself. Doctors themselves are the first to admit the treatment has side effects. It was the president himself who drove the car. The ornate town hall was opened by Queen Victoria herself. If you don't trust me, you'd better do it yourself. Do you yourself believe you're making a valuable purchase? Does she still live in the small house by herself? By oneself, or all by oneself means alone. She lives by herself. Since his wife died, he's been living all by himself. You can't go home by yourself in the dark. I'd like to be by myself for a while. We went to the movies by ourselves. We both live by ourselves. I noticed her sitting all by herself in the corner. I made the whole meal all by myself. By oneself, or all by oneself, can also mean without being helped by anyone else. Are you bringing the children up by yourself? He collected the evidence all by himself. You can't move that furniture all by yourself. Here, let me help you. He couldn't have planned the whole thing by himself. It's a big garden, but they do all the gardening by themselves. There's too much work for you to do all by yourself. I want him to figure it out by himself. If you have or get something or someone to yourself, or all to yourself, you do not have to share them with anyone else. For example, she at last had a bedroom all to herself. I'm so busy that I never get an hour to myself. Everyone else had gone out and he had the apartment all to himself. When they go out, you'll have the place to yourself. Jeff couldn't wait to have Jane all to himself. It was the first time I'd had a room to myself. Sophia had the house to herself while her parents were away. He used to have the house to himself. The hotel was very quiet, so we had the swimming pool all to ourselves. I've got the apartment to myself this weekend. Now, do this exercise. Directions: for each question, there are 4 choices, and only one of them is correct. Write down the correct answers on a piece of paper. You have 2 minutes to complete this exercise. Check your answers. Question number 1. D. Themselves. Did they enjoy themselves at the party? Question number 2. A. Themselves. God helps those who help themselves. Question number 3. C. Ourselves. We taught ourselves English. Question number 4. A. You. Remember to take a pen with you. Question number 5. B. Himself. My husband busied himself with repairs around the house. Question number 6. C. Him. I hope he hasn't brought his sister with him. Question number 7. A. Himself. I want him to figure it out by himself. Question number 8. D. To ourselves. The hotel was very quiet, so we had the swimming pool all to ourselves. Question number 9. B. Yourself. Are you bringing the children up by yourself? Question number 10. B. Himself. The letter was written by the president himself. Well, that's the end of this lesson. Thanks for watching. If you like this video lesson, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to our channel.